Well, of course it is frustrating. It's first of all frustrating to be a refugee. You know, one of the most desperate moments of this war was when in the bomb shelter I have seen a child, a girl asking her mommy, are we refugees now? So it's a stress, it's a pain, it's a terrifying experience for all of them. So Poland is the first step and the first destination that people are choosing, and then they're looking out of what would be the best for them and their children. And UK is probably one of the farthest countries that my people are going to, and we continue to be grateful to all the people who are supporting us and who are getting our women and children in.
We were talking earlier on about the British commitment of 8,000 more soldiers along the eastern border of NATO and those countries that abut Ukraine. And we read this morning that although matters in Kyiv have calmed down somewhat, the fighting in Donbass and in the southeast is terrifying, the worst that some people have seen. What is your take on what's going on right now? Because I want to answer that accusation that all we do is hear from reporters or government spokespeople. You're a Ukrainian MP. How bad is it in Donbass right now?
It is very bad. Well, you see, Russians are trying to get as much done as possible for a specific date. It's May 9th, the Victory Day. The victory in Second World War, and that's why they are trying to kind of repeat it. And this is why they have an order to march forward, and they are marching forward. And our military, our army is doing everything possible and impossible to stop them. I'm in Kiev right now, and you say it's calmed down. Well, it did not. Recently, when Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of United Nations, was here in Kiev, we had 5 missile strikes on our peaceful city. And there were at least 3 buildings destroyed and at least 3 people killed and 10 wounded. And it was, you know, like after a week and a half of not having the air raid sirens on, it was like, oh, again. And it is terrifying because without Air Force protection, and this is the weapons that we are still waiting to be delivered to Ukraine, it's nowhere in Ukraine where you can feel safe. Nowhere where my people can say, okay, we can exhale right now. Nowhere where the refugees from the east can say, okay, now we can settle down. That's why people are still going to Poland, they're still going to the United Kingdom, because there is no peaceful city in Ukraine. We are constantly under attacks on different areas of our country, constantly. And this is why it's so important that we are getting more and more weapons from our allies, and this is why it would be so important to get this specific Air Force protection that we are getting from the NATO countries and we are getting it from the United States. We hope that it will be here soon, within the next 2 weeks, because then we will be able to, you know, protect the peace. We are happy to fight where we need to fight, but we also need to have a place where people can feel safe.